Hello everyone and welcome back to English Ambition, a channel where English is taught with great detail with a view that you get very good marks in your class 11th or class 12 board examination. And I'm Kakuli, your guide, your teacher and your mentor. And today we are doing a poem from the Flamingo, a roadside stand, by the famous or renowned and acclaimed American poet Robert Frost. You have already read Robert Frost earlier, I'm sure, in class 9th or 10th. So this would be another poem of the great poet. Robert Frost, children, writes poems with a very deep philosophical insight. He is very sensitive, he is very thoughtful, and at the same time he compels the readers also to become sensitive and thoughtful. His poems are very, very thought-provoking. And this is a poem in which the poet talks about the poor, miserable, deprived people of the village. Okay, and he says that these people live a life of poverty and misery, and the government also is blissfully unaware or indifferent towards their misery and sad plight. He also contrasts the development or the progress of the village with that of the city. He says that there is a lot of development, prosperity in the city, whereas the village people and the village economy is neglected. And there is also a contrast with the life of the villagers with that of the city people. He says that the city dwellers or the people of the urban society are also very much indifferent towards the pitiful plight of the villagers. So let's begin the poem. We will understand it better. And as you know, I always deal with each and every word and line. I will request you again to keep your books open so that when I teach, you can underline, you can mark all the word meanings, the tone that the poet has set over here, the figures of speech that he has used, so that whatever question comes in the exam, you are able to attempt. And believe me, if you listen to this video till the end, there should not be a single question in the board exam which will go unattempted by you. And this year, especially the board exam of 2022, this poem is very, very probable. If you want to take the tip of an experienced teacher, please do this poem very thoroughly. I have a feeling that this poem will be there this year in your board examination. So let's begin. A Roadside Stand by Robert Frost. Just now we have discussed about Robert Frost, a very acclaimed American poet. Let's see about the poem now. The little old house was set out with a little new shed in front at the edge of the road where the traffic sped. Kya tha? On the highway that is connecting the village to a city or one city to the other city, on the highway there was a small old village house, but the villagers have made a shed, as an extension banake outside the house. They have started selling some vegetables or fruits or some paintings. They have started selling such things. Why? With the hope that the people who are passing by in the car of the city, means the city dwellers, they will stop their car and purchase certain items that they are selling. So the little old house was out with a little new shed in front of the edge of the road where the traffic sped. Sped is speeding, past tense of speeding, zor se fast jana. A roadside stand that too pathetically pled. Please underline two things over here. Pathetically pled, if you can see, all of you know, I think, P, P, per sound is there. So it is an example of alliteration. So please underline pathetically pled. It can be alliteration also. One more very important figure of speech over here is a roadside stand that too pathetically pled. Pathetically, sadly. Pled is the past tense of pleading, means requesting, urging. So please underline these words. They can come in your question. So what is the poet saying? The poet is saying it seemed that that roadside stand was pleading, was requesting in a very sad manner. In a sad manner. But can a roadside stand plead? Is it a human being? No. So what figure of speech over here it is? It is a personification. So we can identify two figures of speech over here, children. If you get in MCQ any one, you can take any one. There is personification also and there is alliteration also. Why personification? Because roadside stand is not a human being. So, you know, an inanimate object is given a human quality. That is personification. Is it clear? So this line, there is personification, and because two P sounding words are there, so it is alliteration as well. Now, what are they pleading for? What are they asking for? The poet is saying, no, don't think they are begging. They are not beggars. They are not asking for a piece of bread. They are not asking for a dole of bread. They are not beggars. Then what are they asking for? They are asking for some of the money, the cash that flows in the city. Okay, as I told you, it is told by the poet over here that there is a lot of cash circulation in the city, but in the village, the government doesn't invest so much of money for its prosperity, for its development. So these people have made the small shops or stalls so that some amount of the money of the city flows into the rural economy as well. Okay, that's why they have, the poet is saying they have not made that stall for begging some money or some piece of bread. No, they want some part of the money that is flowing in the city to flow in the village economy as well. Flow supports the flower of the cities. Please underline flower of cities from sinking and withering faint. So the poet is saying the money that is flowing in the city is helping the city economy, the urban economy to bloom, to prosper, to develop. Okay, so here the flower of cities, please underline, it is a metaphor because the development of the city, the prosperity of the city, the growth of the city is compared to a flower. So the money that is flowing in the city is helping the flower of the city to bloom. That is the prosperity to bloom and develop. Okay, so the villagers want that money to flow in the village as well. But the polished traffic passed with a mind ahead. The polished traffic passed with a mind ahead means the people who are passing in the polished cars, did they stop? Are they stopping in this village stalls? No, they're least bothered. They have a mind ahead. मतलब उनको अपना जो भी destination है वहाँ पहुँचना है, उनको develop करना है अपने आप को. There can be two meanings. One is they want to move and reach their destination, or everybody is, concentrating, focusing on their own development. Who looks at each other? So they are busy to reach their destination. Nobody looks at the small little shops that are put up on the roadside. Okay, so they don't stop. They move towards their destination. Okay, or if ever aside a moment, then what happens? if sometimes they look also or they stop also, do they sympathize with these roadside stands? No. On the contrary, what do they say? They say, oh God, these roadside stands are so unaesthetically made. Means the roadside stands, do you think they have a lot of money to beautifully make a cafeteria kind of, which is very beautifully aesthetically made? No. A small tin shed, the painting also, whatever they could do with their limited resources they have done. So some people, they look at it, instead of sympathizing with them, they criticize. They say, oh God, the beauty of the landscape is spoiled, is marred. Marred means spoiled with these stands. They have destroyed the beauty of the landscape. The scenery is destroyed, is spoiled by these roadside stands. Okay, and sometimes, you know, they have given a direction, north and south, but they are illiterate people, not educated, so maybe they have written N wrong or S ulta. So they get irritated at that. See how what they have done? They don't even know how to write N, they don't even know how to write S. So they get very irritated. So the poet is saying they don't stop to buy any products. Even if they stop, they criticize the roadside stand and the villagers. The city people are so, you know, insensitive towards the pathetic life or the poverty-stricken condition of the villagers. Now, what do they sell? Now, the poet is saying they sell offered for sale wild berries in wooden quarts. Quarts are wooden containers, so they sell wild berries, fruits in the wooden containers, or a crook-necked golden squash, that is just, you know, a fruit. Squash is a fruit, golden colored squash with silver spots. Okay, the fruits that they sell have some silver spots. Or beauty rest in a beautiful mountain scene. Sometimes they also sell some small paintings of the landscape, maybe made by some local villager, by the local budding artists. So they sell some small souvenirs or some small photos, pictures of the mountains and the landscape that is painted by some local artist. So they sell those things also. Now the poet expresses his anger. You have the money. Who is the you over here? Be very careful. You is the city people. Okay, the people who are going in the cars, the city dwellers. You have the money. But if you want to be mean, mean here means selfish. Please underline and write these word meanings that I'm telling you, because questions can be there. Why keep this money this crossly? This crossly, what is the tone of the poet? Anger. The poet is angry at whom? At the city dwellers. So you have the money, but you are being very mean, very rude, very selfish. Okay, so keep your money. The poet is saying keep your money and go along. He's very angry at this attitude of the city people. The hurt to the scenery wouldn't to be my complaint. Okay, so the hurt to the scenery, the poet says, I am not bothered about the heart, the hurt. That means the way you people are saying that they have destroyed or marred the beauty of the landscape. That is acceptable. I'm not bothered about that so much. But what I feel bad is the trusting sorrow of what is unsaid. Underline trusting sorrow. Beautiful expression. What does it mean? Trusting sorrow of what is unsaid. Trusting sorrow means, try to understand. These poor villagers made these stands with a trust, with a hope. What kind of hope? That if we make this stand, the city people will stop their cars and buy some products from us, so that we also will get some money in hand. Our life will also improve. We will also get a slice of the money that is flowing in the city. But trusting sorrow. Why it is sorrow? Because obviously you can understand their hope, their expectation is all gone to vain. It is wasted. Nobody is stopping. Very few people are stopping, and they are not even buying any products. So trusting sorrow. Sorrow why? Because the hope with which they had opened the shop or the stalls is not fulfilled. Now, what is unsaid? Now, these last few lines are the voice of the farmers or the villagers. Try to understand. These type of questions can come. Unsaid. You can see the colon. So, what is unsaid? What do the villagers want to say? Here, far from the city, we make our roadside stand. So, the villagers are saying, means this is what they feel, but the poet is giving expression to their thought. That is why it is said unsaid. What is the thought that they cannot express but they want to say? Okay, we make this roadside stand and ask for some money to feel in our hand. This is, I think, easy. All of us can understand. We get some money. We want some money to try if it will not make our life expand, to see whether it improves our life. Expand here means improve, develop, and give us the life of the moving pictures promise. Okay, they have seen some pictures, some movies. Okay, that time such beautiful movies were not there, but yes, some black and white movies or whatever they have seen. So they are saying that we also want to lead a life, a little comfortable life, like it is shown in the movies. That the party in power, that is the government that is ruling, is said to be keeping away from us. Okay, so they are deprived. The government is not giving them the facilities, the money, or taking any care of their development, their improvement at all. So the villagers say that we have built up this stall to get some money so that we can improve our own lives, because the government is completely indifferent towards our needs or towards boosting the rural economy. Okay, is it clear? Now let's move on to the next stanza. It is a very beautiful stanza, children. And in this stanza, the poet describes, the malicious intention of the government, the politicians, the businessmen who exploit these poor people, the villagers, and they are innocent, they are not educated, they don't understand the real intentions behind these people. So they are easily exploited. They feel, they become a prey to their negative intentions, and the poet has vehemently criticized these people in this stanza. So let's do it. It is in the news that all these pitiful kin are to be brought out and mercifully gathered in to live in villages next to the theatre and the store. Now, it's a long sentence. I'll just break and teach, otherwise you will not understand. The poet is saying that it is a news, ऐसे सुनाई में दे रहा है कि all these pitiful kin, underline, kin means, our relatives. So the poet considers these poor people his relative, so that shows his bond, his feelings, his association, his sympathy for these people. Okay, so why I'm saying such questions can be very, very probable, children. Ki, what do you understand about the poet? What feelings of the poet do you understand with the word kin? It shows his bond with them, his sympathy for them, and pitiful because they are in that pitiful condition. So that is pitiful. Now, what is the news? That these people will be bought. Bought is again important, means they will be given some money. Maybe they will buy the politicians, the government, the rich businessmen. They will give them money and buy their land with the hope or with the promise, obviously a false promise, that they would be brought near the market and the theaters, near the cities. They will be rehabilitated over there, and it will be, they are told, where they won't have to think for themselves anymore. That means Means we will provide you with all the job, with all the facilities, and the market is readily available. So if you want to open a shop, that also you will be able to do. You will get a lot of job opportunities. So saying these people will be moved to such places. Now this stanza has plenty of such words which the poet uses in a very sarcastic manner, like the word mercifully, underline. What tone of the poet is depicted over here? Sarcasm. The poet is being sarcastic because they are not being merciful in bringing. Okay, why do you think these poor villagers are brought out or evicted from their homeland and brought to the city or near the cities? Because they need manpower. The businessmen of the cities, they need cheap labor, so they will use them for their factories or their shops for their own selfish needs. Okay, and now these people have sold their property, their land in the city or their land in the village, or the houses all are sold off, so they cannot go back also. So it is not at all mercifully. They are doing it with their malicious, selfish intentions. Okay, so this word, understand. So they are brought over here and they are told, given false hope, that they don't have to think about themselves anymore. While, underline, very, very important, greedy good doers, the beneficent beasts of prey. What figures of speech? It can be alliteration also, because greedy, good doers, two g sounds are there. Beneficent beast, two b sounds are there. But I would definitely love to explain oxymoron over here, because it's a beautiful example of oxymoron. Two opposite meaning words, when they are placed side by side, it is an oxymoron. Greedy, good doers. How can good doers be greedy? So two opposite meaning words are put together. So oxymoron. And beneficent beast of prey. Beast of prey, we understand, the beasts that prey on you. So these people are regarded as the poet as beasts of prey. Why beneficent? Because they act as if they are benefiting them. Okay, they behave as if they are being their benefactor, they are helping them, but actually they are what? They are beasts of prey. They are the beast. And who are the prey? These poor villagers. They prey, they are the prey, they are the victims, and they swarm over their lives, enforcing benefits. Swarm, again an animal imagery is there. You know, swarm we know is a collective noun. Bees together, house flies, they swarm. So these people attack the lives of the poor people in that group and enforce benefit. Forcefully they give them the benefit. This enforcing benefit again shows how the benefits that were given to them were actually not benefits. They were actually beneficial for these politicians, not for the poor people. Whom was it benefiting? It was benefiting these people, the rich people, the politicians, the businessmen, the city people, and not the villagers. Okay, that are calculated. Now these lines are very important, a little difficult, so please pay attention. They are calculated to soothe them out of their wit. Wit means what? Intelligence. Soothe, calm them. Okay, they have, because see, they are poor people, and whatever these people, the rich people, are doing, it is very well calculated, and they give them false hopes and false promises, and the intelligence, the wit of the poor people is completely soothed, means lulled. They are not able to think anymore. They believe whatever the rich people say. They believe. As it is, they are not educated. They don't have that, you know, sense of that logical reasoning, understanding. That is why education is so important. And by teaching them how to sleep, 3 sleeps are there. Very important question can come. So sleep number 1. By teaching them how to sleep, number 1, that means not to think. Here sleeping means not the physical sleeping. It is by teaching them not to think. They sleep all day. Who are the they? Please underline and encircle and write. They here refers to the rich city people. Okay, they sleep all day. Why? They are relaxed. Okay, because they know कि these ये तो है हमारे लिए काम करने के लिए, हमने तो इनको बेवकूफ बना ही लिया. They are now under our control. They are working for us. So they make these people sleep. मतलब इनका जो thought process है, that is completely arrested, soothed. They are not able to think. So the city people, they sleep relaxed. Destroying their sleeping at night. Third sleeping at night the ancient way. ये जो third sleeping है, this is normal sleep. Now the villagers understand at last, okay, that they have exploited us, we have been cheated. तो ये इनके जो रात के नींद है वो चला जाता है. They are not able to sleep at night the ancient way. What do you mean by ancient way? Again, very important. This practice is being done for centuries, for decades, for ages. ये कोई नया चीज नहीं है. That the rich are exploiting the poor. This is an age-old custom or tradition. ये होता आ रहा है. So this is what is happening now as well, just like it has happened throughout the centuries. Okay, is it clear? Now let's come to the next stanza. Now the poet, this I is the poet. So please understand who it question can come, who is the I over here. So it's the poet. Sometimes I feel myself, I can hardly bear. The poet says it's very difficult for me to see, to tolerate. What? The thought of so much childish longing in vain. Of what? The sadness that lurks near the open window there, that waits all day in almost open prayer. What is the poet saying? The poet is saying, try to understand, when we began the poem, what did we say? That एक छोटा सा पुराना घर था जिसके सामने एक ऐसे शेड लगा के किसी ने ऐसे एक छोटा सा स्टॉल दिया है. So the people, the owner of that shop or that small stall, house is attached only, so they may be doing the household work also. The lady or the man, he's working because बहुत ज़्यादा सेल तो है नहीं, तो दुकान में क्या दिन भर बैठे रहेंगे. Maybe they are doing some other job inside the house, but at the same time, through the window that shows the outside stall, they keep on waiting, and with a childish longing. Underline childish longing. What do you mean by longing? That desire, like a small child waits in the window for father or the mother with the hope that Papa jab ghar aayenge ya Mummy jab ghar aayenge tab he or she will bring a chocolate for me. उन्होंने promise किया था सुबह. So the whole day the child is standing in the window कि कब आएंगे कब आएंगे. So in the same manner, these people stand at the window waiting for a customer, waiting for a car. They want to hear that the brake of the car to stop and somebody to come and buy. But it is in vain. Vain means useless. Please underline these words that I'm explaining. So vain, useless. Nobody comes, nobody stops, nobody buys. And the poet says it's very painful for me to see that how these people wait, their childish longing, everything goes to waste. Okay, for the squeal of brake. They wait for the squeal, that noise of that brake, the sound of a stopping car. Then the poet says sometimes, but of all the 1,000 cars that pass, just one to inquire that a farmer's, okay, one thing I'll have to tell you over here, 1,000 selfish cars. Please underline selfish cars over here. Selfish car, if you can understand, cars cannot be selfish. So it's a transferred epithet. The who is selfish? The people sitting inside the car are selfish. So it is transferred epithet. What is transferred epithet? When the quality of another, of a person, is shifted to somebody else. Instead of saying the selfish people sitting in the car, we are saying selfish car. So the word selfish is shifted from the people to the car. Okay, so underline, it is an example of transferred epithet. Everything is flashing on the screen, so please make a note in your books. So the poet is saying, out of those thousands cars that pass, sometimes some of them stop, but they don't buy anything. There are 4 examples that I will quickly go through. Number 1, one stopped to ask for the price, just to compare the price of the village fruits or vegetables and that of the city. So they did not buy, they just stopped, gave a false hope to the farmers, and they went off. Number 2 also stopped, but what did they stop for? To turn the car. Maybe they had come a wrong way, they understood. So they stopped, and these people, came out thinking that they'll buy something. But what did they do? They turned the car, they plowed the field. If they turned the car, that grass gets a little ruffled over there, and then they went off back. The third one also stopped over there, asking where this road goes to. Okay, just to ask the direction, where this road goes to, they just stopped and asked, kahan jata hai ye rasta is type ka. And next, the fourth one was really a little, I think, stupid. He asked that whether they are selling the gas to fill the car, and the farmers were very angry. They said they couldn't. This crossly means angrily. They had none. Didn't it see? They said, can't you see? We are not selling, it's not a gas station. We are selling fruits or vegetables. So this is the condition. 4 examples are given over here by the poet, where the people, the cars stop, but they do not buy anything. Just for some reason or the other, they stop and they go away. The last stanza shows again the concern of the poet. The concluding paragraph or the stanza, the poet says, no, in country money, the country scale of gain, the requisite lift of spirit has never been found. Country here means village, okay? No, in country money, country, village money, or in village economy, there has not been required amount of upliftment, development, growth, or prosperity. So the voice of the country seems to complain. That is what? The voice of the country, that means the villagers, keep on complaining. I can't help owning the great relief it would be to put these people at one stroke out of their pain. The poet says it shows his, how he himself was so much in agony, in pain. He was really empathetic towards these people. He says, I really would be so relieved if I could at one stroke, means aisa kuch hota, ek aisa tarika, one way in which I can, just in one stroke, abracadabra, I could just remove all the pain and the suffering of these people and give them at least the minimal requirements, a happy, peaceful life. Okay, if kuch aisa hota tarika ki I could have just at one stroke, I could alleviate all their pain and suffering and give them a happy, if not rich, but at least a moderate life. And then the next day, as I come back into the sane, underline sane, means, and then next day or next time, he realizes it is not possible. Is it possible? We all know कि ये नहीं हो सकता, because these things require years and years for, of development and of planning. Then only this can happen. So he becomes normal. Sane means when he becomes practical, when he becomes normal and he realizes कि ऐसा कोई तरीका नहीं है कि in one stroke you can, alleviate their pain. I wonder, I should like you to come to me. Who is the you over here? It can be the readers, it can be the politicians, it can be the government. So the poet makes a plea over here, a request over here, that you please come to me and give me some way out so that I am relieved of my pain. That means what? I can relieve all these people of their pain. Then only the poet's pain will be alleviated, isn't it? So this is the poem. Now, as we can understand, it's a beautiful poem, a poem that depicts the sorrow, the pain, the poverty, the deprivation of the village people, and how the city people, the government is blissfully unaware or indifferent towards their pain and their sorrow and their misery. Okay, and this poem can come, and not can, I have high hope that it will be there in exam. So do this chapter very thoroughly, understand the questions and the words that I have taught you, and definitely share my video with your friends. And if you have not subscribed it as yet, please do so. And if you like it, please give a like and give your comments for what else you want me to add over here for it to make it even better. Till then, happy viewing.